and welcome to HS Game Time Live. We're late, but definitely worth the wait because we are leading off the show with a huge game from the land of the Big 8. Centennial taking on Norco, and this game went all the way down to the wire. We have the great finish and also an interview with the winner. Thanks for joining us. I'm Pep Fernandez, your host for the evening. We'll go about an hour-long strong and bring you all the highlights that's coming in tonight in Week 7 of the high school football season. A lot of scores, and we'll bring in some of the reporters for analysis. And we're kind of previewing what you'll see on the Saturday Scouting Report, where we bring you all the highlights from the high school football Week 7 tonight. But we start, as we said, in the land of the Big 8, Centennial taking on Norco. And Norco coming off that loss to Santiago. Centennial picking up a lot of steam, a lot of momentum after dropping their season opener at St. Bonaventure. So let me set the stage real quick before we go to the highlights. So Centennial found themselves in an early hole against Norco. They battled back, and they roared back in the second half to actually take a couple touchdown lead on the Cougars. Mike, let's roll the highlights. Take you out to Norco, Horsetown,
We
USA.
start at Rubidoux. Rain pouring
That
down.
was actually Novi. But let's take you out to Norco first. And we can tell you that this touchdown here, Robert Weber, the quarterback for the Huskies, rolls out. He's going to find Ryan Pascarella, and the Huskies would go up 35-21 at that point. But here comes Norco. Colt Gerhardt on the keeper. Get in there. Goes in for the score, 35-28. Then later, it's more from Norco. Colton Gerhardt calling his own number once again. He goes in for the touchdown. Norco would not get the extra point, so it was 35-34. Centennial still on top. To the fourth quarter, with about 8 minutes and 41 seconds left, Norco gets the field goal, so they go up 37-35. Norco gets the ball back, looking to put a nail in the coffin, so to speak, but Centennial's defense comes up huge, keeps Norco out of the end zone, and they get the ball back. So Centennial with the ball, and that is Rigo Luna, the 30-yard field goal with 3 seconds left as Centennial holds on and beats Norco in dramatic fashion. Final score of 38-37. So back here live in the studio, what a dramatic finish between Centennial and Norco. It looked like Norco had the Huskies on the ropes, had the lead, had the ball late in the game, looking for that touchdown to kind of seal the deal. Centennial's defense with that huge stop to get the ball back. They marched back down, and Rigo Luna, the hero in Week 7 of the high school football season, giving Centennial the 38-37 lead. After the game, our videographer on the site, Javier Cabrera, and EPJ caught up with the winning coach, Matt Logan, and here's what Coach had to say.
We were 4th and 1, and we get a penalty, and we have to kick, the play at the end of the half, all these plays that just kept going on. It was absolutely, there was just huge play after huge play. Unbelievable. Impact play, I should say.
Talk about Rigo. I mean, you're not known for your kickers too often, but you've had Trevor and some of these guys, but Rigo definitely.
Obviously we all saw the field goal, which was awesome, and then one at the end of the half. But where he puts the ball in kickoffs and stuff like that, the setup that one at the end of the half and different things like that has been unbelievable. He was awesome tonight. He was our MVP tonight. That's for dang sure.
I'm trying to remember the last time you guys had 3 field goals in one game.
Actually, he did it once before. He did it.
Okay.
I'm gonna say against Cabrillo, or maybe somebody. I don't want to.
Okay. I remember seeing that and stuff. Talk about what Norco's offense, 533 yards against you guys. Is that the best you've seen them?
Oh yeah. We were worried coming in, and they lived up to the billing. We thought it'd be a shootout. That's kind of what I thought, and it ended up being that one.
Talk about the way Robert at least managed at the end there.
It wasn't his best outing,
right?
And he had some mishaps, and so I just thought he did an awesome job staying with it, keeping his composure. Yeah, last drive was great.
80 yards in a minute. So.
Yeah, it was engineered, and that's what great quarterbacks do. When they're not having their night, they still find a way to get done, and he found a way to get done.
Yeah, and just how important was, like you said, getting the touchdown, but also getting that ball and getting the field goal, give you a little momentum. You came out and got the 2 touchdowns also right away.
Right,
but then they answered back.
They got the onside.
Did you think with the 2 touchdowns that you guys had it at that point? Or?
I did, yeah. I thought, I thought it might force them a little bit of passing mode, which they complete the one ball, but then they just continued to run the ball. It's a good job by them. When we were 4th and 1, and we get a penalty, and we have to kick,
So there you saw a dramatic finish as Centennial beats Norco 38-37, your final score, as the Cougars on their home field nearly knocked off the mighty Huskies in this one as Centennial continues their dominance in the land of the Big 8. All right, let's take a look at the scores from the Big 8 in Week 7. Javier, let's crank up the scoreboard and show you what happened tonight. There's the score we're talking about. 38-37, Centennial is your winner, so the Huskies are now 6-1 in league, 6-1 overall, 2-0 in league. Norco falls to 3-4 overall, 0-2 in league. Centennial, Norco opened the Big 8 league season, as we told you, with the loss to Santiago. They follow that up with another tough loss to Centennial. So Norco probably a lot better than their record indicates. All right, to the next score in the Big 8, and we have Corona and King. King off to a great start this season. They were winless last year, if you remember, and the Wolves pick up another win. They beat Corona 28-23, so King is now 4-3 overall in the season. And I think we have one more score from the land of the Big 8, Santiago and Roosevelt. Santiago. If I'm going to do it, I got to do it right. And they hold off Tony Burrill and his Roosevelt Mustangs 49-35. So the Sharks improved to 2-0. Roosevelt falls to 1-1 in the league, 2-5 overall. And back here live in the studio, we should mention that Centennial and Santiago, they're continuing this collision course. They will meet in the final week of the regular season, Week 10. So, you know, if all goes according to plan, they could be playing for a Big 8 League championship, both schools undefeated heading into Week 10, but still a couple of games until we get there. But it looks like they're, the Sharks and Huskies are on that collision course. All right, moving on to the River Valley League. It was a wild game between Norte Vista and Moreno Valley tonight. And Miriam Swanson was the reporter at the game. I was actually at the game as well. I had to leave early, but it really got juicy in the second half. We'll have Miriam here in the studio hopefully later in the show, and she can break it down because this game went to double overtime. Mike, let's go to the highlights. Moreno Valley out on the road at Norte Vista. We'll show you some first half highlights in this one. The Vikings, Secoania Palate, the big run. The Deuce getting loose for the Vikings. He'll take this all the way down to the Novi 8-yard line. And then it's Justin Tyler. He gets the call, squeezes inside, and he's in for the touchdown. 7-zip, Moval on top. Still in the first quarter, Palate punting for Moreno Valley. Nuni Nashia, great play here. Check him out. Great on special teams. They down him at the goal line, but Novi, they battle back. The quarterback, Justin Spillman, long pass to Victor Gonzalez. The Braves march down the field. 99 yards. They cap it off here. Ulysses Leon, get in there. 7-7. We're all tied up. Still in the second quarter. Novi playing some stout defense. Sal Sena in on the play to sack Dane Watkins there. And then later, the Vikings trying to get a touchdown before halftime. Watkins going with the deep ball, but there's Jorge Manzo coming up with the interception for Novi. So it was tied 7-7 at the break. Third quarter, Moval scores on their first drive of the game. And I don't always score touchdowns, but when I do, I run right at the HS Game Time camera. That's Palate in for the touchdown. Moreno Valley went up 13-7, but we can tell you that Norte Vista actually went on to win by a final score of, where do I have it? I have it right here. Give me 1 second. 34-31 in double overtime. So back here live in the studio. Wow, what a finish there. Miriam Swanson, let me take a quick peek. I don't even see her yet. She still might be out there, but she was at the game, and she stayed all the way to the finish to double overtime. Norte Vista is a winner, 34-31. So the Braves improve to 2-0 in River Valley League action. In fact, let's take a look at some of those River Valley League scores. Javier, let's crank up the big scoreboard. That's what we're talking about in double overtime. Novi 34-31 over Moreno Valley. Norte Vista improves to 3-4 overall, but more importantly, 2-0 in this brand new River Valley League. Moreno Valley falls to 1-1 in league, 5-2 overall, 34-31 your final. All right, also from the River Valley League tonight in Week 7, we've got La Sierra, a winner against Jurupa Valley, 36-18. The Eagles get it done. They're now 2-0 in the River Valley, so the La Sierra Norte Vista game coming up. Rivals, and now more importantly, league title hopes on the line as these two schools hook up. That'll be a great game. Jurupa Valley falls to 1-6 overall, 0-2 in River Valley League play. All right, back here live in the studio. There was Ramon and Patriot. Let's go. I forgot about that one. You guys are right. Mike and Javier keep me honest here on the HS Game Time Live show. They're behind the scenes, but they get the job done. Ramona had the lead in this one. The Rams gave it away. Patriot with a strong effort. So the Warriors win 41-28, your final score. And Ramona remains winless, 0-7 right now. So the Rams still looking for their first win of the season. Patriot 3-3-1. Remember, they got that tie, so they kind of have a weird record, 3-3-1, but 1-1 in the River Valley League. All right, now back live to the studio. Thank you, Mike. So last night, Thursday night, we had a couple of local games, and one of them was a River Valley League game. The Sty-Hairston Experience in Banning hit the road for Rubidoux. Rubidoux, a team that figured to be in the hunt for the Mountain Valley League Championship, but Banning going on the road and proving they can play with some of the big dogs in this league. Let's check out the highlights from Thursday night.
We start at Rubidoux. Rain pouring down for the big battle in the Mountain Valley League. The Broncos strike first when Darian McCall makes the house call, Banning up 6-0. But on the ensuing kickoff, Daniel Young fields it for Rubidoux, and he's gone. Young, the touchdown return, and the Falcons soar in front 7-6. Still in the first quarter, Rubidoux keeps it on the ground. They go to Young. Get in there. Rubidoux up 14-6. The Falcons coming up big in the first frame. Jalen Pontius hooks up with DeAndre Washington for the score. 21-6 Rubidoux after one. To the second quarter, the Broncos battle back. Miguel Aspero finds the paint. Then later, it's the Sty-Hairston Experience. The Banning quarterback right there. 21-21, we're all tied up at the half. Third quarter, more from Hairston. Now wearing number 17 because his number 8 jersey was all ripped up a couple games back. The Sty-Hairston Experience puts Banning up 28-21. The Broncos defense also forced a number of timely turnovers. Rubidoux at the Banning 5-yard line, but the Broncos caused the fumble and McCall recovers. Banning would capitalize. Alvin Harper breaks off the long touchdown run, and the Broncos are on top 35-21 after 3 quarters. To the fourth, Rubidoux still hanging tough though. Washington slides in for the score, making it 35-28. Banning looking to hold off the Falcons. Anthony Ellison, he's in for the touchdown. And after every TD, the Banning cheerleaders doing jumping jacks for all those points.
14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Make it 48 jumping jacks when the Sty-Hairston Experience does it again. Rubidoux would score a pair of touchdowns late in this one, but Banning hangs on to win 49-42. The Broncos improved to 6-1 on the season, 2-0 in the Mountain Valley League.
First thing we had to do is make them believe. You know, made them work hard. The kids are starting to believe in what we're doing. And I tell you what, you know, just a great effort from our guys, and it's just the momentum's going for us, you know.
It gives us a lot of confidence because they're a really good team. They were league champions last year.
All right, so Banning, the big winner on Thursday night on the road at Rubidoux. The Falcons trying to make that close at the very end, got a couple late touchdowns. But Banning winning on the road, as we mentioned, at Rubidoux, 49-42. So a great win for the Broncos and head coach John Stockham. All right, so also let's take a look at the other scores from the Mountain Valley League. Go ahead and crank up the scoreboard and check out those scores. The other games were tonight. The Mountain Valley League had that one game on Thursday night. So also from the Mountain Valley League. And here it comes with the special effect. Oh, we got to tell you that one game was postponed, Rim of the World and Harupa Hills. I think we're told it was because of the weather up there on the mountain and Crestline area, postponed. So Rim of the World, a perfect 6-0 this season, and we'll see. We'll try to find out the details of when they're going to make up that game. Maybe tomorrow, I'm not sure, but we'll find out. All right, also from the Mountain Valley League, Citrus Valley and Notre Dame. We have those highlights. We're going to get you to those highlights a little bit later in the show, but Citrus Valley and Notre Dame hooking up at RCC, and the Blackhawks coming up with the big win, 42-14. So Pete Smollen's crew gets the win. They're 3-4 overall, 1-1 in league. Notre Dame drops to 0-2 in the Mountain Valley League. And did we have any other Mountain Valley scores? I believe that might be it. All right, so back here live in the studio, we told you there was one other Thursday night game. That was Paloma Valley on the road at Paris. Paloma Valley coming off that disappointing loss to Elsinore. So the Wildcats suffered their first loss of the season. So how would they respond as they hosted Paris on homecoming? Well, Chris Erkley has the action from Thursday night.
Paloma Valley would be playing host to a Paris team looking for a huge upset in Wildcat territory, but Paloma Valley would have none of it. Paloma would be fired up from the start and never look back. Early first quarter after the Paris turnover, Paloma would cash in with the TD as David Solis pulls out the Madden spin move, breaking off a 30-yard touchdown chop for the early 7-0 lead. Wildcats would be on the attack on D as well, pressure on the blitz, and it's Michael Nayland coming up with the sack for Paloma. More offensive domination from Paloma in the first quarter. Quarterback Brent Bohm is teeing it high and letting it fly to a wide-open Matt Orzik for a 14-0 Wildcat lead. And thank you, sir, may I have another. This time on the screen pass, it's Bohm connecting with his old pal David Solis for his second TD of the game, 21-0 Paloma. Now in the second quarter, the homecoming game would be just another walk in the park as Bohm connects this time with wide-open C.J. Parker, good for the 28-0 lead. The theme of Paloma's homecoming is the circus, and they pull out a circus play here, the old-fashioned halfback pass, as Solis shows off his arm on the TD pass to a wide-open Marcus Page. It's all Paloma as they take down Paris 49-6.
And Twitter, and we're going to get to some of these a little bit later in the show, but we had some good stuff coming in tonight. A lot of great games in Week 7. Week 8 looks to be even better, so the high school football season really heating up as we inch closer to the playoffs. All right, Javier, it's time to take a look at the other Sun Belt League scores from Week 7. Heritage, 24-7, and actually I'm just reading an email right now from Lisa Avney. Her son plays for Heritage. She's going to get us some highlights of this one as the Patriots pick up a 24-7 win. Heritage 6-1 on the season, 2-0 right now in league play. Temescal Canyon falls to 3-4, 1-1. And also from the mighty Sun Belt League tonight in Week 7, Elsinore all over Lakeside. Lakeside still searching for their first win of the season as the Tigers win 54-28. They improved to 5-2 overall, 2-0 in league play. All right, back here live in the studio. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to tell you about something that I've been doing on Wednesday mornings at KCal Rocks, 96.7 FM, your home for the San Diego Chargers this season. All their games, you can find them on KCal 96.7 FM. You know they rock. They got all the best rock music. They got the best morning show. Stu, Tiffany, and Jimbo, they're the best. But we also talk sports on Wednesday mornings. I go in there, we talk Chargers, we talk National Football League, and of course, we talk high school football. So here's a little sample of what we talked about on this past Wednesday.
Pep Fernandez is with us every week here at KCal Rocks, rocking the Empire, and he's also with the Brewers Hard Press Enterprise. He's got a ton of stuff going on.
He's
there,
all
man.
over the place with this
Yeah,
stuff.
Stu, we're going to get it really cracking this week because we got a lot of great games. We are live every Friday night beginning at 10:30 for 1 hour, and then we come back on Saturday and we produce a real clean, polished show that you're going to love. It's only about 15-20 minutes long. We pack all the highlights from Temecula to San Bernardino, all the high school football highlights in one show, and it's awesome.
Let's go to real sports then.
How about, we all knew this was coming, like the sun coming up in the morning, that Mark Sanchez and the Jets would struggle and everyone would be crying for Tim Tebow.
Yes.
So I say, salvage the season, put him in, put some fans in the stands, sell some jerseys, and see what happens.
Yeah. And what? Tebow did get him to the playoffs last year, the Broncos.
Yeah. Denver did the same thing. They came out of the gate cold, and they put in Tebow, and he kind of got them, got him to the playoffs, kind of put some energy back into the team. And right now, Sanchez is just looking awful. He's not the problem, but he is a problem on the Jets. They're just a bad team right now.
And did you see who's interested in joining the Jets?
Who's that?
Terrell Owens is mopping up.
The circus comes to town.
Yeah. Why not? It's New York City. Let's do it all. Get T.O. You can get him at a bargain price. Throw in Tebow and let's just see what holy happens.
Yeah, because you're right.
That was a Pep Fernandez phrase. Like holy happenings in New York.
Happens only on the Jets. Well, speaking of your Vikings and transitioning to high school football, you're familiar with Toby Gerhart, right?
Yes.
The running back for the Vikings.
From the IE.
Yeah, well, his little brother, Colton Gerhart, is the quarterback for Norco, and Norco's playing Centennial of Corona. That's the big game on Friday night.
Wow. His name is Colton, and he goes to Norco. How sacrilegious
that
is that?
Seem right.
Horsetown, USA.
And putting us out there, Gerhart family, I've been supporting your son ever since he joined the Vikings.
There you go.
I would like a size probably 48 to 50 in Toby jersey. numbers if you want to thank me.
You know, Pep Fernandez may have his connections, and he may be a big-time sports guy, but I don't.
Back to HS Game Time Live. Chris Ercole took a tour of the
Great Southwest.
Yeah, and you came back with lots of good highlights.
It was
the
Wild West at one game. At the other game, it was a one-sided shootout. We begin with the one-sided shootout. The mighty Vista Marietta taking on Great Oak, and Vista Marietta was at home and would not be a very kind host, I would say, to Great Oak. Let's reel out to the highlights. That was the second game I got to tonight, so I got there at halftime, and it was already fairly out of hand. We'll pick the score up right at the end of halftime if Mike Watanabe will entertain the people with the highlights here. We begin with Coley Candell. There he is. There's Coley Candell deciding his HS Game Time viewing location. He said, hey, how about my house, fellas? And this is definitely a highlight they would want to watch. Nick Stevens hands off to Stuart Riding, the third-string quarterback. Whoa. Coley Candell was, yes, Coley Candell wants to watch the highlights at his house. We shaked you guys out there a little bit, but back to the lecture at hand here. Stuart Riding, the third-string running back for Vista Marietta. 65-yard touchdown, 44-14 would be the score right now. Early third quarter, Vista D bringing the pain more. It's the chef. Vista Marietta's Tyler Cook cooking up another touchdown for Vista. This one a 51-14 domination score there mid-third quarter. All Vista Marietta tonight. Now after a bad snap, it's linebacker Tyler Van Dyke making the pain for Great Oak. More for the Vista defense. This time it's Briar Yup. And yup, it's a fumble picked up by Vista Marietta. Sorry, with a name like Yup, I had to do it, buddy. 65-14 would be the final score out there for Vista. It would basically be running through the motions, I would say, in the second half. A good portion of the second half, I was chatting it up with our Vista Marietta insider, Mr. Kurt Ruth.
You're going to reveal his name, huh?
Yeah, I guess I'll reveal his name. But he has a playoff beard on right now. Because I'm going to say this just because I know he's supporting the Giants, even though he's not. But I'm anointing him as a Giant fan, and that's why he's wearing the playoff beard.
Lucky him.
Yes. But
Vista Marietta has
Vista
a huge
Marietta.
game next week against Marietta Valley, and the
that's what I was
Nighthawks
say,
had a big game
The
tonight
Nighthawks
as well.
had a big game tonight as well. Marietta Valley and Marietta Mesa in a showdown. That was the first game of the evening for me. A little bit closer out there. Mike Watanabe will treat us to the highlights. Coach Greg Ireland discussing Thanksgiving plans with the refs. Excellent, lining it up 2 months ahead of time. Also lining it up, Chase Chambers not in the game. It's Parker Aronson, the backup quarterback for Mesa, scoring there with Kyle Vasquez, 7-0. Striking back quickly would be Marietta Valley and Andrew Blake. Over the middle to Hector Batista, all knotted up at 7-7. The next play, not a touchdown, but quite a highlight. Blake to Aaron Paisley, and whoa, mid-air collision with the band conductor kid. He would be out there for a little bit, taking a little nap on the ground, taking a little breather, but no joke, he would be all right, get back up, everything's fine. The medical professionals approve him, he's ready to go. The band, pretty good out there tonight. They were doing a couple Led Zeppelin covers. Also pretty good is this field goal here from 29 yards for Marietta Valley, 10-7 lead. Chase Chambers would enter the game for Marietta Mesa, though, their not-so-secret weapon. He would find his buddy Gilbert Torres, shakes his defender for a 14-10 Marietta Mesa lead. But a costly mistake deep in their own territory. Marietta Mesa would cough up the football. It's picked up by the Nighthawks. They would take a 17-14 lead at that point. And, drum roll please, we don't have the highlights because I went over to that Vista Marietta game, but they hang on for the 33-30 victory over Marietta Mesa. So that pretty much lines up, the stars are aligning for an undefeated clash between undefeated, not heavyweight champion of the world, but co-champions of Southwestern League at the moment, Marietta Valley and Vista Marietta. Vista Marietta looking like a well-oiled machine this week, making quick work of Marietta Mesa, who was shut out by Marietta Valley last week. Marietta Valley has some good defense. Apparently, the defense wasn't quite on point tonight, but I'm going to tell you, the Marietta Valley defense is going to need to be on point if they're going to stop the Nick Stevens, Sua Cravens and company machine.
Yeah, I cannot wait for that game.
Yeah.
And, we should also mention that Chaparral will certainly be in the mix, too, when we're talking Southwestern League champion here.
Chaparral still undefeated, but first things first. That game is the Vista Marietta Chaparral game is actually the last game of the Southwestern League schedule before the playoffs. But in the meantime, though,
awesome.
I think definitely our game of the week next week, I think it's pretty much a no-doubter, Vista Marietta and Marietta Valley, because
see if that Nighthawks defense will step up.
That game is at Marietta Valley. They're going to want to eat their Wheaties, though, if they're going to be able to pull anything close to a shutout on that Vista Marietta offense. I'm going to guess that game is not going to be a shutout on either side.
It may not. And a quick shout-out to Mike Almodovar at Marietta Valley, one of the linebackers. I'll be talking about him on my Monday morning pep rally and pep talk. Thank you, Chris. We appreciate it. Javier, crank up the scoreboard. So I got some of the scores from the Southwestern League in Week 7. There they are. Chaparral, 42-6 over Temecula Valley. So the Pumas improved to 6-1, 2-0 overall. Chris mentioned it, that Chaparral Vista Marietta game is going to be awesome. But first things first, next week, Vista Marietta and Marietta Valley. It will be a battle for Middle Earth. All right, also from the Southwestern League tonight, some of the games that we just covered. Javier, let's go to the next one. The score from the Southwestern League. Marietta Valley and Mesa, as we told you, 33-30 the final. So the Nighthawks still unbeaten this season, 7-0, a perfect 7-0. Marietta Mesa still enjoying a great season as well. They're 5-2, but 0-2 in a very tough Southwestern League. And also from the Southwestern League tonight, one more score for you, and it was Great Oak and Vista Marietta, and the Broncos with no problem, 65-14, so they remained undefeated and number 1 in the HS Game Time rankings. All right, now let's go to the Inland Valley League scores. Just click to the next one, Javier. We'll show you some of those. Rancho Verde all over Canyon Springs. So the Rancho Verde wins 52-6. The Mustangs 4-3, 2-1 in league play. To the next score from the Inland Valley League tonight. And it's North hanging on against Valley View, 17-10. So the Huskies have quietly improved to 3-0 in league play. So North and Arlington could be a great game coming up in the Inland Valley League as that league title race begins to heat up as well. And also from the Inland Valley League, one more score, and it's Pauley tossing the shutout against Vista Del Lago, 27-0. So the Bears are 3-1 in league play. All right, to the Mountain Pass League, a couple scores from there, from the land of the Mountain Pass. And we can tell you Citrus Hill wins 56-31 on the road at Beaumont. So the Hawks are 7-0, 2-0 in league play. And the Cougars still very much in the hunt for second place in that league. I'm sure Tockwitz will have a say in that as well. Also from the Mountain Pass League tonight, speaking of the Titans, 37-20. Tockwitz a winner against San Jacinto. So Tockwitz 6-1 on the season, 2-0 in league play. And one more from the Mountain Pass League, and it's Hemet and West Valley. West Valley wins 44-30 your final scores. So the West Valley Mustangs are 5-2 on the season, so they're playing well this year. All right, now to the Citrus Belt League, a couple scores from there. And Eisenhower guaranteed their first winning season since, I think I read on Twitter, I'll have to go back and check this, but I think it was their first winning season since 2002 when the Eagles went 7-5. So they beat Ukaipa 40-15. Eisenhower 5-1 on the season, 2-0 in the Citrus Belts. Also from the Citrus Belt tonight in Week 7, Redlands a winner over Cajon, 28-16. The Terriers now 6-1. And did we get that Redlands East Valley Miller score in there? Because I did not see it when I walked into the HS Game Time Live studios. But you know what? Mike and Javier, they did it again. They got the score in there. 45-9. Rev is a winner, so they're 3-3 overall, 2-0 in the CBL. All right, speaking of all these league scores, back here live in the studio, our poll question this week was from top to bottom, which local league is the toughest in the inland area? So that was our poll question this week, and we'll give you the final results when the Saturday Scouting Report comes up tomorrow. But right now, I'm looking at the results as they stand right now, and the overwhelming winner is the Southwestern League with 49% of the vote. Second place, the Big 8 with 27%. My good buddy Chris with Primetime Polynesian, he said this on Facebook, quote, The baseline and the Big 8 are definitely not the toughest league from top to bottom. That honor goes to the SWL, the Southwestern League. And my boy Mike Almodovar said, hands down, Southwestern League is the toughest. You have teams like Chaparral, Vista Murrieta Valley, Mesa, Great Oak. Plus, there's 3 teams in the top 10 rankings. Just saying. Thanks, Mike. And Pete Van Ginkel, he said baseline is the strongest. And then James Lee said top to bottom, he thinks the Big 8 is the toughest. And Anthony Granados, he's going with the Eastern Division Mountain Pass League. Toughest all the way, he said. So, but right now, so as we told you, 49% of the fans going with the Southwestern League as the toughest in the inland area. You can still vote tonight and tomorrow. We'll close it off tomorrow and give you the final results on the Saturday scouting report. All right, back here live in the studio, we're going to recycle through the highlights and all the scores once again, bring some of the reporters in for the analysis because we had some great games that went down to the wire. Novi and Moreno Valley, double overtime. Plus, we have video of the dramatic finish as Centennial beats Norco 38-37. We will be right back here on HS Game Time Live.
You're watching Pep Fernandez on HS Game Time Live.
Juice and eating my cheesy poofs, I watch HS Game Time with Pep Fernandez. He's so cute.
And that was Tiffany from the best radio morning show you will find anywhere in the world. From Stu, Tiffany, and Jimbo, KCal Rocks 96.7 FM. So she's just having a little fun there in the studio, dressed up like Honey Boo Boo. We all know who Honey Boo Boo is by now, right? So, but the big game tonight, Centennial and Norco in the land of the Big 8. This thing went down to the wire. It looked like Norco had the Huskies on the ropes, but Centennial finds a way to continue their Big 8 league dominance. Mike, let's roll the highlights from Horsetown, USA. Actually third quarter in this one. Huskies quarterback Robert Weber to Ryan Pascarella, and that gives Centennial the 35-21 lead. But still in the third quarter, Norco fights back. Quarterback Colton Gerhardt goes in on the keeper, and that makes it 35-28. Later, it's Gerhardt again, back in the gun. He's going to call his own number. Get in there. Gerhardt's in for the score, but they would not get the extra point. So it's 35-34, Centennial still on top. Now to the fourth quarter, 8 minutes, 41 seconds to play when Norco gets the field goal to take the lead, 37-35. They would get the ball back. The Cougars trying to knock Centennial out, but the defense comes up with a big play to get the ball back and keep Norco out of the end zone. And that would set up this. Rigo Luna with 3 seconds left nails the 30-yard field goal. What an incredible win as Centennial goes on to beat Norco by a final score of 38-37. So Centennial with a dramatic win against the Cougars. We caught up with Centennial's head coach Matt Logan after the game and talked about the big win and what went right and what went wrong for his Huskies in the 1-point victory on the road at Norco. Here's Coach Logan.
When we were in 4th and 1 and we get a penalty and we have to kick, the play at the end of the half, all these plays that just kept going on. It was just absolutely, there was just huge play after huge play. Unbelievable. Impact play, I should say.
Talk about Rigo. I mean, you're not known for your kickers too often, but you've had Trevor and some of these guys, but Rigo definitely.
Obviously we all saw the field goal, which was awesome, and then one at the end of the half. But where he puts the ball in kickoffs and stuff like that, the setup that one at the end of the half and different things like that has been unbelievable. He was awesome tonight. He was our MVP tonight. That's for dang sure.
I'm trying to remember the last time you guys had 3 field goals in one game.
Actually, he did it once before. He did it.
Okay.
I'm gonna say against Cabrillo, maybe, or somebody. I'm not, or I don't want to.
Okay. Oh yeah, I remember seeing that and stuff. You know, talk about what Norco's offense, 533 yards against you guys. Is that the best you've seen them?
Oh yeah, I know. We were worried coming in, and they lived up to the billing. We thought it'd be a shootout. That's kind of what I thought, and it ended up being that one.
Talk about the way Robert at least managed at the end there.
Because it wasn't his best outing,
right?
And he had some mishaps, and so I just thought he did an awesome job staying with it, keeping his composure. Yeah, the last drive was great.
80 yards in a minute. So.
Yeah, it was engineered, and that's what good great quarterbacks do. When they're not having their night, they still find a way to get done, and he found a way to get done.
Yeah, and just how important was, like you said, getting the touchdown, but also getting that ball and getting the field goal, give you a little momentum. You came out and got the 2 touchdowns also right away.
Right,
give you some momentum, but then they answered back.
They got the onside.
Did you think with the 2 touchdowns that you guys had it at that point? Or?
I did, yeah. I thought, okay, I thought it might force them a little bit of passing mode, which they complete the 1 ball, but then they just continue to run the ball. It's a good job by them. When we were 4th and 1.
Now, Centennial head coach Matt Logan talking about the Huskies' 1-point win on the road at Norco. And our guy, Javier Cabrera, was at the game, and he saw it all. You can call him Ja Rule if you see him around. He's one of us here at HS Game Time. And Javier, gosh, it didn't start well, though, for Centennial, right?
Right. I mean, obviously, Norco was all in the first half. Between the quarterback and the running back, it seemed like it was a 1-2 punch in the first quarter. And then going into the second quarter. But in the first half, Norco was definitely dominating that game. And Centennial's defense wasn't able to stop the QB.
And then it seemed like Centennial, they got on a roll. They actually built a 2-touchdown lead, right? I think it was 35-21 or something like that.
Right.
So what did Centennial do to kind of get back in this game and get that offense going?
Yeah, right. When the second half started, they didn't waste any time. They scored a touchdown on the first drive, and they converted. They completed their 2-point conversion. Following that, they had they recovered the ball back after kicking it off, and then they scored another touchdown with another 2-point conversion. So they got 19 points or. Yeah,
Centennial can score quick. Bottom line, the Huskies offense, man, they get it fast.
It was really, really hard to keep up with them. I was running down the field,
running down the sidelines of the camera, trying to get.
I'm like, oh my gosh, they got the ball back. I have to go back down to the end zone.
So Norco kicked a field goal with just under 9 minutes to play to take the lead, and then Centennial gets the ball back with a great defensive play to keep Norco out of the end zone. They get the ball back, march down the field. 3 seconds left on the clock. What was that place like with 3 seconds left, Centennial kicking for the game?
Wow. Centennial's sideline, they were just going crazy. Norco's sideline, silence.
Oh, man, I can only imagine. Norco had Centennial on the ropes. The Huskies have dominated the Big 8 League for so many years, but Centennial escapes with a 1-point win at Norco. Javier, you're the man. Thanks for joining us here on HS Game Time Live.
I'm happy to be here.
You did it. All right, Mike, let's check out some of those other scores from the Big 8 League in Week 7 of the high school football season. There's Javier's game, 38-37. The Huskies a 1-point winner on the road. So Centennial continuing to own the Big 8. They still got a showdown with Santiago looming later this season. That would be in the final week of the regular season if the two teams can stay undefeated. Also from the Big 8 and Corona and King. King, they're 4-3 on the season. They pick up a win tonight, 28-23 against Corona. And we were speaking of Santiago. I think we have that score. Let's go ahead and click to the next one. Santiago and Roosevelt, and the Sharks winning a shootout against Tony Brill and the boys, 49-35, your final score. All right, back here live in the studio from the River Valley League. And this was, if Norco Centennial was the game of the night, this might have been, runner-up because Moreno Valley and Norte Vista went to double overtime with Norte Vista hanging on at home for a big win against the Vikings. Miriam Swanson was there to the finish. You can find her story in Saturday's Press Enterprise. I was only there for the first half, and so those are the highlights we're going to see. So, Mike, let's go ahead and roll those highlights from Novi and show you what happened in the first half of this one, long before it went to double overtime. First quarter, the Vikings, Sikoania, Palate, big run, the deuce, get loose, down to the Novi 8-yard line. Then later on that drive, it's Justin Tyler getting the call for the Vikings. He goes in for the touchdown, 7-zip, Moval on top. Still in the first quarter, it's Palate, punting for Moreno Valley. And here comes Nuni Nashia. Great play on special teams to knock the ball down right at the goal line. So Novi pinned up, but the Braves have plans to march down the field. Justin Spillman, the long pass to Victor Gonzalez there. The Braves march 99 yards, and they cap it off with this Ulysses Leon touchdown. Game tied at 7 apiece. Then later in the second quarter, it's Norte Vista playing some stingy defense. South Santa there on that sack. And then later in the second quarter, actually just before halftime, Moreno Valley looking to try to get one more touchdown. But Jorge Manzo coming up with the interception. So it was all tied up, 7-7 at halftime. So in the third quarter, Moreno Valley, they would strike back. And I don't always score touchdowns, but when I do, I run right at the HS Game Time camera. That's Palate, the touchdown to give Moreno Valley the 13-7 lead. But as we told you, it would go to double overtime, and Norte Vista is a winner, 34-31, your final score. So a crazy one there. All right, also from the River Valley, let's crank up those scores from Week 7. There's the one we just talked about, 34-31, Novi, 2-0 in league play, so congrats to the Braves. La Sierra, a winner against Jurupa Valley, 36-18, so the Eagles also 2-0, so that La Sierra Norte Vista game is going to be huge. Can't wait for that one. And do we have one more from the River Valley? I think we do. It's Ramona and Patriot, and Patriot a winner, 41-28, so the Rams still searching for their first win of the season. All right, to the Mountain Valley League from Thursday night, a wild shootout between Banning and Rubidoux. The Falcons on their home field looking for a big win against Stuyt Hairston and the Broncos, but Banning with that high-octane offense showing they can get it done against a very good Rubidoux team. So let's take you back, hit rewind to Thursday night, and show you the highlights.
We start at Rubidoux. Rain pouring down for the big battle in the Mountain Valley League. The Broncos strike first when Darian McCall makes the house call, banning up 6-0. But on the ensuing kickoff, Daniel Young fields it for Rubidoux, and he's gone. Young, the touchdown return, and the Falcons soar in front, 7-6. Still in the first quarter, Rubidoux keeps it on the ground. They go to Young. Get in there. Rubidoux up 14-6. The Falcons coming up big in the first frame. Jalen Pontius hooks up with DeAndre Washington for the score. 21-6 Rubidoux after one. To the second quarter, the Broncos battle back. Miguel Aspero finds the paint. Then later, it's the Stuyt Hairston experience. The Banning quarterback right there. 21-21, we're all tied up at the half. Third quarter, more from Hairston. Now wearing number 17 because his number 8 jersey was all ripped up a couple games back. The Stuyt Hairston experience puts Banning up 28-21. The Broncos defense also forced a number of timely turnovers. Rubidoux at the Banning 5-yard line, but the Broncos caused the fumble and McCall recovers. Banning would capitalize. Alvin Harper breaks off the long touchdown run, and the Broncos are on top 35-21 after 3 quarters. To the fourth, Rubidoux still hanging tough though. Washington slides in for the score, making it 35-28. Banning looking to hold off the Falcons. Anthony Ellison, he's in for the touchdown. And after every TD, the Banning cheerleaders doing jumping jacks for all those points.
14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Make it 48 jumping jacks when the Stuyt Hairston experience does it again. Rubidoux would score a pair of touchdowns late in this one, but Banning hangs on to win 49-42. The Broncos improved to 6-1 on the season, 2-0 in the Mountain Valley League.
First thing we had to do is make them believe. You know, made them work hard. The kids are starting to believe in what we're doing. And I tell you what, you know, just a great effort from our guys, and it's just the momentum's going for us, you know.
It gives us a lot of confidence because they're a really good team. They were league champions last year.
On the Stuyt Hairston experience in the Monday Morning Pep Rally show, as well as the Monday Morning Pep Talk, which you can find in Monday's Press Enterprise. All right, also from the Mountain Valley, let's check out the scoreboard from other scores from that league tonight in Week 7 of the high school football season. From the Mountain Valley League, Jurupa Hills and Rim of the World postponed up there in Crestline. We believe it was because of the weather. We'll get that confirmed, but the Fighting Scots not playing tonight up there on the mountain, but they are 6-0 right now. And maybe the favorite, maybe Banning can slip in there. And Citrus Valley and Notre Dame 42-14. The Blackhawks are a winner. We will have highlights of this game on the Saturday scouting report. So check back on Saturday for highlights as Citrus Valley wins 42-14. All right, back here live in the studio. Going back to Thursday night, we had another Thursday night game. It was Paloma Valley and Paris from the Sun Belt League. Paloma Valley, the Wildcats, still licking their wounds after a tough loss to Elsinore the previous week. So how would Paloma Valley respond against Paris on homecoming night in Menifee? So Chris Erkley has the highlights from Thursday night.
Paloma Valley would be playing host to a Paris team looking for a huge upset in Wildcat territory, but Paloma Valley would have none of it. Paloma would be fired up from the start and never look back. Early first quarter after the Paris turnover, Paloma would cash in with the TD as David Solis pulls out the Madden spin move, breaking off a 30-yard touchdown trot for the early 7-0 lead. Wildcats would be on the attack on D as well, pressure on the blitz, and it's Michael Nayland coming up with the sack for Paloma. More offensive domination from Paloma in the first quarter. Quarterback Brent Bohm is teeing it high and letting it fly to a wide-open Matt Orzik for a 14-0 Wildcat lead. And thank you, sir, may I have another. This time on the screen pass, it's Bohm connecting with his old pal David Solis for his second TD of the game, 21-0 Paloma. Now in the second quarter, the homecoming game would be just another walk in the park as Bohm connects this time with wide-open CJ Parker, good for the 28-0 lead. The theme of Paloma's homecoming is the circus, and they pull out a circus play here, the old-fashioned halfback pass, as Solis shows off his arm on the TD pass to a wide-open Marcus Page. It's all Paloma as they take down Paris 49-6.
So Paloma Valley, the big winner on homecoming on Thursday night. A couple other scores from the Sun Belt League. Let's go back to the scoreboard and tell you what else happened in that league tonight. In Week 7, Heritage 24-7 is a winner. The Patriots now 6-1 and 2-0 in league play. Lisa Avney is going to send us some highlights of Heritage against Temescal Canyon. So we will have that video in the Saturday scouting report. So thank you, Lisa, for hooking up HS Game Time with some highlights of the Patriots' big win, 24-7. And also from the Sun Belt League tonight, Elsinore was in action against Lakeside, and the Tigers, 54-28. They win big time. They're 5-2 overall, 2-0 now in the Sun Belt League, and once again 54-28. Now moving on to the Southwestern League, and we've got Chris Erkley here, and Chris, you were down there taking a look at two of the games. Chaparral, the big winner against Temecula Valley, also from the Southwestern League, but you were at the Marietta
the battle
routes.
of the Marietas. It was Marietta Valley and Marietta Mesa. That one ended up being a shootout. That was the first game I was at. Then also I was at the Vista Marietta versus Great Oak game. That one not so much of a shootout. We are going to begin at the shootout at the OK Corral. No, wrong game. That's excuse me. Actually, that is the right game. We're going to begin at the Vista Marietta game. I apologize, Mike. Mike, if we can bring back up Cooley Candell and company. Vista Marietta clearly dominating. Mike, that was the correct game. I apologize. We can bring that game back up. Yes.
Mike, are we going to go to that game, Vista Marietta? And all right, well, let's talk about it.
Here we are.
Oh, there's Coley.
Coach Coley Candell deciding what bean dip he wants to use when he's watching HS Game Time live afterwards. Hey, how about inviting this guy over for the post-game show? Stuart riding his way to a 65-yard touchdown. 44-14 Vista Marietta early in the third quarter. Vista D bringing the usual pressure. It's the chef of the Vista Marietta defense, Tyler Cook, cooking up another TD off the fumble. 51-14 now the score. All Vista Marietta tonight. A bad snap by Great Oak, and it's just all trouble there. Linebacker Tyler Van Dyke with the sack, a big loss for Great Oak. More from the Vista D. This time it's Briar Yup. Where do you get a name like that? Yup, it's a fumble. Mr. Yup is all yucking it up with his fellas on the sideline after that one. 65-14 would be the final score for Vista Marietta and Great Oak tonight. Vista Marietta looking like a well-oiled machine. I was told by, I'll go unnamed Vista Marietta insider, they haven't, I wondered why they had their first stringers there in the game, middle third quarter when it was really getting out of hand. But apparently they've been in such blowouts the last couple weeks, they haven't even gotten to play their starters in the second half much. So, hey, they want to keep them well-oiled, you know.
They're like 48
machines.
minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that about?
So, of course, next week with Marietta Valley, that could be quite a showdown. They
Could be
wanna
a battle.
Keep these guys with their endurance well-oiled and well-machined. So that's why we had the first-string defense out there. Let's take a look, though, at their opponent for next week, Marietta Valley. They were facing off against Marietta Mesa. Coach Greg Island, Marietta Valley, saying, hey, guys, I'll give you a ride back to my place after the game for a few cold ones. Marietta Mesa, though, had to shake things up. Their quarterback, Chase Chambers, out with a concussion to begin the game, but that would not stop them from scoring and taking the 7-0 lead. Marietta Valley, though, and Andrew Blake would strike back, all knotted up at 7-7 all. This next play, not a touchdown, but it would be a highlight. Check this one out. Andrew Blake throwing it up. Not quite a touchdown, but whoa, Nelly. They knocked out the band director for Marietta Valley. He would get up seeing stars for a minute or two after that, but he would be cleared by the fine medical professionals over there on the Marietta Valley sideline, ready to go. Also ready to go would be the special teams from Marietta Valley. 29-yard field goal it would be. They would have the 10-7 lead late in the first quarter. Chase Chambers back at it. He's back in the game. A little rattled last week, but he was not rattled at all, finding his buddy Gilbert Torres right there. Shakes a defender for a 14-10 Marietta Mesa lead. Costly mistake for Marietta Mesa, though, right before the half. They fumble it right near their own end zone, and it is picked up by Marietta Valley for the score. 17-14, the lead at halftime, and they hang on in a nail-biting fashion for the 33-30 victory over Marietta Mesa. That sets up the big showdown. Two undefeated teams, Vista Marietta, Marietta Valley. That should be a showdown for the ages.
Let's look into the crystal ball to next Friday. I mean, you saw both teams tonight. Marietta Valley, and they've got a great defense. We know that. Can they hang with the Broncos?
They have a good defense. They shut out Marietta Mesa last week, but I just don't think they have enough weapons to
Most
keep up.
teams don't. Vista Marietta is number one in our HS Game Time rankings for a reason.
That game is at Marietta Valley. And it is a rivalry game. We saw what happened with the Centennial Norco game.
Yep.
Never know what might happen, but I honestly got to say, Vista Marietta, the way that they've looked tonight in the last couple weeks, and when I saw them in that Rev game a couple weeks ago, too much firepower in that cannon over there for the Broncos.
They've got a lot of great players at Vista Marietta, that's for sure. Chris, thank you very much. And Javier, let's take a look at those Southwestern League scores from tonight. The one game we did not get to, but we can tell you who won. Chaparral, 42-6. The Pumas are a winner. They're 6-1 overall, 2-0 in league play. I guess if we're going to show their score, I should say it right. Chaparral. And then also from the Southwestern League, the games that we just covered that Chris had the highlights of. 33-30, Marietta Valley edges Marietta Mesa, 33-30 the final score. So the Nighthawks still undefeated, and so is Vista Marietta. Vista Marietta, check out their score one more time. The big blowout win tonight against Great Oak as Vista Marietta wins by a final score of, Javier, we're going to go to that one, the last one, Vista Marietta. By a final score, there it is, 65-14. The Broncos, the big winner. They're 7-0 now in league play, setting up that showdown with the Nighthawks next week. All right, now moving on to the scores from the Inland Valley League tonight. And the Rancho Verde, big-time winner against Canyon Springs, 52-6. The Mustangs improved to 4-3 overall. Also from the Inland Valley League, go to the next score, and it's North, a one-touchdown winner against Valley View, 17-10 your final. The Huskies 3-0. So their game against Arlington looks to be a good one in terms of crowning an Inland Valley League champion. And also from this league tonight in week number 7, it was Pauley tossing the shutout against Vista Del Lago, 27-0. All right, now to the Mountain Pass League. A couple scores from there to pass along to you as well. Citrus Hill blasting Beaumont 56-31. So the Hawks 7-0, 2-0 in league play. Also from the Mountain Pass tonight, it was Tockwitz 37-20 against San Jacinto. So the Titans are 6-1, 2-0 in league play. And one more score from the Mountain Pass League tonight. It was West Valley and Hemet, and the Mustangs 44-30, a winner against Hemet. So West Valley 5-2 now overall on the season. And one more league to go through before we check out here from the Citrus Belt League. And we're going to start with Eisenhower and Yucaipa. Eisenhower guaranteed a winning season for the first time since 2002, so a decade. They win against Yucaipa, at Yucaipa, 40-15. So Eisenhower having a great season, man. They could challenge Rev and Redlands. Speaking of the Terriers, they win 28-16 against Cajon as they improved to 6-1, 2-0 in the Citrus Belt League. And one more, Redlands East Valley taking on Miller, and the Wildcats win 45-9. Kirk Bruick's crew 3-3 overall, 2-0 in the CBL. All right, back here live. Those are the scores and just some of the highlights. We will showcase all of the highlights that we got from Week 7 tomorrow on your favorite show, the Saturday Scouting Report. Bear with me here. We're going to have Centennial Norco highlights, including the dramatic finish, Citrus Valley, Notre Dame, Great Oak Vista, Murrieta, Murrieta Mesa against Murrieta Valley, Moreno Valley, Norte Vista, Santiago and Roosevelt, North and Valley View, Heritage Temescal Canyon, Calvary, Murrieta, and Linfield Christian. And we're trying to get even more. So we're going to have a jam-packed show tomorrow on the Saturday Scouting Reports, and Week 8 of the high school football season looks to be even better. So please join us again back here on HS Game Time Live next Friday, and you can always check back with us throughout the week. From Friday to Friday, we'll get you all your heavy dose of high school football in between, and make sure you're staying up to date on all the latest. We're on YouTube, so go ahead and subscribe to us so you don't miss any of the shows, any of the videos. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. The hashtag on Twitter is HSGTFB, so you can find us there as well. So we will see you next Friday, but please don't forget the Saturday Scouting Report tomorrow afternoon. All the highlights from Week 7 of the high school football season. From everyone here at HS Game Time, I'm Pep Fernandez, and we'll see you next week on HS Game Time Live.